Hi, you all. This is Dr. Sakyo. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are diving into an incredible, interesting, and meaningful topic: marriage and divorce in three very different cultural settings: the United States, India, and Nepal. These three countries have unique approaches to relationships shaped by their distinct histories, religious beliefs, and societal norms. So, in the next 20 minutes, we'll explore how marriage is perceived, how divorce is handled, and the cultural aspects that shape these life events in each of these countries. Let's get started. Before we dive into this topic, may I please request you to subscribe my channel? It would be really helpful to make these kind of videos. Your one subscription means a lot. Thank you. Please go subscribe. In Nepal and India, arranged marriages are very common. And in contrary, in the United States, individuals they decide on marriage and it's based on the love more than a culture or family pressure. When I came to the United States for the first time in 2014, I have heard people talking about their divorces, talking about their past life partners, and it made me feel a little bit shocked that how comfortably they can talk about it. So anyone who come to the United States for the first time, you will get a chance to see different kinds of relationship dynamics in this country, where people are comfortable talking with their ex-husbands, ex-wives, and then they raise their kids together. So I would not say that like all the things in the United States are better than what we have in India or Nepal, but it would be interesting to know comparatively with this video. Let's start again. In the United States, marriage is largely viewed through the lens of romantic love. From young age, Americans are encouraged to pursue love and personal happiness as the foundation of marriage. Movies, books, and media overwhelmingly promote the idea of finding a soulmate, which influences how relationships are approached. In American cultures, individualism is key. People often marry based on personal choices and affection without much external pressure. There's also a focus on personal growth. Many Americans wait until later in life, sometimes after establishing their careers, before committing to marriage. This reflects a broader cultural preference for self fulfillment and autonomy. Marriage is also diverse. Marriage is also diverse in the US. In recent decades, interracial and interfaith marriages have become more common and widely acceptable. Furthermore, same sex marriage was legalized nationwide in 2015, marking a significant shift in the cultural landscape toward inclusivity. And look at India, where marriage is not just the union of two individuals, but also of two families. In India, arranged marriages are still the norm, while love marriages are becoming more common, especially in urban areas. Arranged marriages continues to play a central role in Indian society. In fact, the decision to marry is often heavily influenced by family approval, social status, caste, and even religion. Marriage in India has deep cultural and religious significance. For example, in Hindu marriages, rituals and customs are of utmost importance, and many marriages are seen as lifelong commitments. There's also the concept of sacred bonds between not only the couple but their families as well. Parents play a major role in finding suitable partners for their children, and the concept of compatibility in terms of family background, wealth, and social standing remains critical. Another cultural aspect is the pressure to marry at a younger age. While marriage ages are increasing, especially in urban areas, many people still marry in their early to mid 20s, with significant societal expectation to marry relatively early. Nepal is also deeply influenced by family and religious customs. In many communities, marriages are still arranged by parents with an emphasis on the social compatibility to the families involved in the role of religion, particularly Hinduism and Buddhism, is also significant, with religious ceremonies playing a central role in the marriage. Marriage in Nepal is often viewed as a sacred duty rather than a romantic choice, and concept of lifelong commitment is strongly ingrained. Like India, social pressure to marry young is prevalent, especially in rural areas, although this is slowly changing in the cities. One important point to note is the importance of caste and ethnic identities in Nepalese marriages. Marrying within one's ethnic group or caste is often preferred, and intercaste marriages can be met with resistance, particularly in more conservative communities. However, we can see some differences and changes happening these days. United States, the US has one of the highest divorce rates globally, with around 40 to 50% of marriages ending in divorce. The general attitude towards divorce has shifted significantly over the years. It's now seen as a valid option for individuals who are unhappy or in toxic relationships. No choice and no fault divorce laws make it relatively easy to end the marriage. People no longer need to prove wrongdoings like infidelity or abuse to get a divorce. This reflects a broader cultural shift towards individual rights and personal fulfillment. Much less social stigma surrounding divorce in the US than in many other countries, and divorcees often feel empowered to move on and rebuild their lives. Additionally, joint custody agreements are common, with both parents encouraged to remain involved in their children's lives post divorce. That is something very positive in the United States. That's what I've seen. Turning to India, divorce is much less common and carries a strong stigma in a country where marriage is often seen as a sacred, lifelong commitment. Divorce is generally regarded as a failure. The social pressure to keep a marriage intact, especially in the face of challenges, is immense, particularly for women. Divorce is often seen as a shameful event, and many women, in particular, face significant societal judgment after a divorce. Divorce law have become more progressive in India, especially in cities. The process is still difficult, slow, and often complicated by cultural and religious factors. Women may struggle to get alimony or child custody in some regions, and there are concerns about economic stability after divorce, especially for women in lower income households. However, divorce is becoming more accepted in India, particularly among younger generations, and there are growing numbers of single parent families and blended families in urban areas. Okay, now let's talk about Nepal. Similar to India, divorce is Nepal remains rare with deep cultural ties to the idea of marriage as a sacred institution. The stigma surrounding divorce is significant and it is often seen as a mark of failure. Women, in particular, face social stigma and may be excluded from social circles or even face financial hardship after a divorce. In Nepal, marriage is often seen as a family responsibility rather than an individual decision. So, divorce is a family matter, and the extended family often plays a role in trying to mediate or prevent divorce. The legal process for divorce in Nepal can be lengthy and complicated, and religious beliefs, especially in Hindu communities, can make divorce difficult to pursue. As in India, women may face challenges in terms of remarriage or and economic independence after divorce, though this is changing in urban areas where divorce is slowly becoming more accepted. Now let's talk about the key differences and similarities. So, what are the main differences and similarities? Number one is marriage in the US is driven largely by romantic love and personal choices, which is while in India and Nepal, marriage is deeply influenced by family involvement and religious tradition. Second, cohabitation before marriage is common in the US, whereas in India and Nepal, it's often frowned upon. However, these days we can see the increasing trends of living together. Divorce in the US is more socially acceptable and legally easier to obtain, while in India and Nepal, divorce is rare and carries significant social stigma, especially for women. And gender roles are more fluid in the United States with a greater focus on equality, while in India and Nepal, traditional gender roles are still prevalent and women may face additional societal pressures when it comes to both marriage and divorce. In conclusion, marriage and divorce are deeply influenced by the culture, social, and religious context of each country, while the United States emphasizes individual choices, romantic love, and personal fulfillment, and in India and Nepal are more family oriented with stronger societal expectations and significant cultural stigmas surrounding divorce. These cultural differences shape how individuals approach marriage and the challenges they face when relationship ends. Thank you for watching. Please do not forget to check out our other videos on different cultural experiences in the United States. I'll see you next time. Before you leave, please do not forget to subscribe this channel. And thank you so much for all the subscribed members. I'm so grateful. Thank you.